Ooh.
So, this is the month of spooks, and what better way to celebrate the month of spooks than with talking about the ultimate of the spooks?
Motherfucking Beetlejuice.
Mm-hmm.
More specifically, the Tim Burton take on Beetlejuice.
It's showtime! Because, in case you probably couldn't tell from the title, this is a double look at. The first one we're going to be looking at is Beetlejuice for the NES. Like James said, this one's more based on the original Tim Burton movie, and unfortunately was made by a rather infamous LYN Studios.
Actually, it's LJN.
LJN, my bad.
But, they did publish it, and I mean, usually anything they publish are it's usually less than stellar, though from what I could tell from that little splash screen we saw earlier, apparently this was actually developed by Rare of all people.
Interesting.
Like, it's definitely not their first time tackling, like, a movie IP. Like, I know they also did a fairly ambitious, four-player version of the Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Oh, that was also them? Interesting.
Yep, that was also them. I mean, you can sort of tell by the way the music's all done and everything. So, Hype, since you had the sudden interest to record Beetlejuice for us, tell us all what all you know about it and why you kept it a secret from Jordy for so long.
Well, I'll start off, at Contra Logic, that shouldn't have happened. But I'll start off by talking about this game in particular. I'm gonna be fairly blunt with you. I don't know how, if at all, this follows the events of the movie, because I found the book for the recently deceased. It tells me to enter recently deceased information booths and obtain scares. Anyway, I don't know how accurately this follows the movie, because I'm gonna be frank. This game is kind of confusing with telling you what exactly you need to do, so that's why this section of the look at it is going to be kind of short.
It seems like it's mostly collectathon more than anything, and I'm not gonna mince. I'm just gonna be flat out honest. I find it kind of just distracting how your lives meter is literally flickering up there.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's not that. Or wait, that's not a lives meter. What is that exactly? Your health?
Yeah, it's basically your health. Anyway, here we are into the shop. The little schmucking head guy is basically our shopkeep, and we can buy these different scares.
God. Real quick, just seeing how the items become like, hey, pick me!
Yeah.
Pick me!
And here's something that I don't know what to do here. Like, these clots are supposed to move. This one doesn't move at all. Like, I did everything I could in this level, nothing moved. But here's something that the game doesn't tell you. If you hold down above those holes and jump, you can jump down these holes, and that's where you're supposed to beat up a couple of these spooky spooks.
Interesting.
Okay.
So, would you say that spook there? Oh, that didn't take long at all.
Yeah, that's the thing with this game. Like, I guess we can go ahead and get, like, the bigger stuff out of the way. The controls they take a bit of getting used to, but they're perfectly serviceable.
Oh.
I was about to say, the big problem is in terms of, like, taking damage. This guy pretty much has, like, 0 invincibility frames when he's hit. Like, if you get knocked back and you get hit, like, even a second afterwards, you're already dead. Like, there is no invincibility frames with taking damage.
So, would you say that he's double dead?
Oop. Okay, so, I guess just to get this out of the way, since I can't really say much about the game because, like I said, it's so confusing, there's not much to really get out of it. I guess I'll just talk about my experience with Beetlejuice as a whole. Kind of like a certain kitten in this. My first exposure to Beetlejuice was more so with the animated series than the movie. Like, at the time, I didn't even know the movie existed until after I saw the series. And I remember liking the series fine enough. Like, it was definitely, like, pretty creative, pretty humorous, like, not at all representing of the movie itself, but on its own it was perfectly fine. Then years later, I went and saw the movie proper, and it definitely was the cult classic I was expecting it to be. Like, I remember for a while it gave me, like, a couple of night terrors with some of the visuals, like, particularly, like, the Beetlejuice snakes and some of the transformations that the two dead couple did.
Yeah.
Again, I just can't get over just how eager they are to have you buy them.
Yeah, and again, this is the point where...
Also, the more I look at Beetlejuice's sprite here, maybe, I mean, is it just me or does it kind of look like, you know, how All Might looks when he's all...
Geronimo!
Oh! Okay, he's dead!
Yeah. Like I said, like, I could not figure out how to get past this point, so I basically just ran out of options and just decided, you know what? I'm done.
Okay, then.
So yeah, we're just gonna put an end to that right there. Oh man, this ain't a good day for me.
First I lose my true love because apparently I had one, and now they won't let me into ghoul heaven. And worst of all, those deetsies are still on the loose. Maybe I can get those sucker matelands to let me try again.
Nope.
Well, maybe another time.
But yeah, so that's basically the movie. Not exactly, the movie's much better than this. So now we're gonna switch over to something I think Jordan will have a little bit more familiarity with. Here's the second Beetlejuice game we're covering. This one based on the animated series.
Oh, funny enough, this was also made by Rare.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I mean, for all I know, maybe these two games were made more or less back to back.
Maybe.
Yo, Lydia, what's going down? It's like a spook convention in here.
Don't look at me, Beetlejuice. You invited them in.
I did? I must have slipped my mind. Well, I better get de-spookying.
Okay, but try not to mess the place up too much. In fact, don't mess it up at all.
Who, me? I'm the ghost with the most when it comes to domestic hygiene.
Uh-huh, sure.
Says the guy who looks like he's missing at least 2 of his teeth.
Yeah. Okay, so now as for the Game Boy version of this, you know, as it shows, it's based more on the cartoon. And what you do for this level is that you pretty much have to explore the entire house, go into each different room, and pretty much fight all the ghoulies that are, like, infesting each room. They'll possess inanimate objects, and you pretty much have to beat them up in order to get the spook out of them. And you'll also find, like, certain bosses hiding in some rooms as well.
Interesting. You know, while we're watching Beetlejuice take care of the usual laundry, let me actually see if I can find some interesting info regarding the Beetlejuice stuff.
And also, I will say, just in terms of controls, I think the controls in this are a little bit easier to get into than the SNES game, although I will say, even though it's easier to get used to, it is kind of sluggish in some areas, like particularly with his attack. You'll notice sometimes where it's like, you have to do a complete turn in order to actually adjust where you want to aim, because there'll be some moments where I just move backwards but still aim forwards.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So here's something interesting. Both the NES and this Game Boy game were composed by David Wise, the same mastermind behind the Donkey Kong Country series.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Not to mention, Greg Mails was also involved as a designer for the Game Boy version, at least.
Sweet.
Interesting. Anyway, so I guess we might as well just go ahead and let her freak out. Jordan, what are your experiences with the Ghost with the Most?
Okay, so I'm actually gonna be honest. I did not get into Beetlejuice until later on, like when I was in college. Mostly because I was kind of scared to see it because the cover art kind of gave me a bad vibe. Like,
Well, it's almost as if it's supposed to be a horror or something.
well, yeah, that was the
actually,
thing.
hang on. If I can
mean,
interrupt, I'm sorry. If I can interrupt real quick, I do have to talk about this boss in particular. Your regular projectiles will not harm him. What you actually have to do is, you know the junk flying out of the cabinets? You pretty much have to use the projectile to push the junk towards them.
Ah, okay, I see.
Seems pretty standard. Actually, crap, what was I going to say? I mean, yeah, this is essentially a horror, but I guess when it comes to Beetlejuice, would it make more sense to call it more of like a gothic comedy more than anything?
It kind of is, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely more gothic comedy than horror, but just in general, because back then I was more of a fraidy cat to watch a lot of gothic horror stuff, that's why I was hesitant. But then, my roommate's birthday came around, and then, we wanted to watch Beetlejuice for her birthday, which I decided to finally give it a try. And I thought the movie was pretty interesting. Then I figured out that there was a cartoon series that came with the, DVD package for the movie. Like, there were a couple episodes on there. I watched them, and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. And then a couple weeks later, I binged-watched all 4 seasons.
Well, 4 seasons? Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of surprised it lasted that long. Like, I figured it would have gotten at least 2.
No, it's gotten 4 seasons. Oh, and also, was it last year? Yeah. Last year, on my birthday, I went to Broadway to see Beetlejuice, the musical, and it was amazing! Like, one of the best shows I've seen ever. Well, I'm actually... What?
No, you got it.
I was gonna say, I'm actually really sad that the show's no longer, or at least at the moment, it's not on Broadway, because by the time that COVID hit, they were getting close to approaching, the deadline for when they had to leave the theater. So, Yeah, I'm kind of sad about that. But a little fun fact, I guess I'll just say this, for those of you who are Teen Titans Go fans,
All three of you.
Beetlejuice was in that episode, and Alex Brightman, the guy who did Beetlejuice on Broadway himself, was the voice of him.
Interesting.
Okay, if I can interrupt real quick, this room has a particular gimmick where it's like, first you have that little funny face thing where you have to pretty much assemble your own face.
Oh God.
Oh, no, that's creepier than what we just saw.
Now you have to go into this mini game where you have to like press the button to pretty much outspook this guy, but you have to be careful. Every time you miss one, your meter goes down, and this guy pulls no punches. You have to be really quick on the draw and not miss at all if you want to beat him.
He tries so hard. He tries so hard without trying at all. And then that happens, and Beetlejuice is dead. Again.
But don't worry, I still have an extra life, so let's see if I can get a scarier face than that.
Yeah, my overall experience with the Beetlejuice license is pretty limited. Like, I do remember vaguely seeing like a few episodes of the cartoon back when I was a little kid, and back when it was still airing on Cartoon Network. And then sometime later is when I actually got exposed to the movie. And I mean, I only remember so much of it, and the fact that, well, it stars like the couple that literally died, and all that, and I guess that's about the most I can immediately remember from it, and also Lydia also being there somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
That's about all I remember.
These pesky ghosts are flooding the floor.
Well, join the pipes to the bath and run off to the water.
Run off the water.
Excuse
Yo,
me.
Lydia, a couple of them pipes here are numbered. What are they for?
You must go through these, or the pipe won't be able to hold all the water.
Hey, no problem, babe. Actually, there's a problem because this puzzle is a little bit too over my head. And
Oh,
spoiler
jeez.
alert, this is where I ended the little cat because I'm not really good at this.
It's okay, BJ.
But yeah, basically, and in case you want to be a little bit cheeky, you cannot move the numbered pipes. You have to pretty much assemble all the other pipes to pretty much go to those.
Right. It looks like it definitely looks like one of those cases where you have to settle with a predetermined set of tiles and then work around them the best you can.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the matter of like dealing with the time limit up there, which I'm not sure if I would say it's fair or not, but then again, I'm not good with these kind of puzzles, so I'm probably not in the right position to judge.
So wait, are all the pipes supposed to connect, or
the only ones that you have to, I think you can spare a couple of them, but it's the ones with the numbers that definitely need to be used.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh boy.
Because I mean that looks like it should work, but it's not going to be enough.
Nope.
Yep. We've let
And
it
that's
down.
it for Beetlejuice.
And because I've had enough of this game and its trickery, and yeah, this couple that's watching has definitely had enough of it.
Okay, let's turn off that channel.
Yeah, so yeah, that was the two Beetlejuice games for the NES and the Game Boy. And yeah, no shock, don't bother with these. You're better off watching either the movie or the show.
They were indeed.
Or the musical.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, if you're able to find anyone that recorded the musical.
Yeah.
But yeah, on that note, Beetlejuice!
No!
You suck.